Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's interesting, here in Harrisburg and I guess across the nation, same set of facts can cause people to reach different conclusions. I want to ask some questions about the Delaware River Basin Commission and whether we should be sending a message to them about their lack of responsiveness to the people who live along Delaware River. Mr. Secretary, you mentioned that they have the ability to raise fees. Would those include fees from users who obtain this drinking water, namely the New York residents?
I believe they could.
Do you know if they charge a fee?
I do not. I don't know if they charge a fee right now, and I apologize. Maybe I should know. I've only, in the last 3 or 4 months since I've been at DEP, became engaged sort of in management oversight at the commission, and so there may be some of this information I haven't focused on yet.
Mr. Secretary, I'm going to urge you strongly on behalf of the residents that live up and down the Delaware River to actively get involved in this compact and to flex Pennsylvania's significant muscle. Let me just share some facts with you that you may not be aware of. The DEV, or the Delaware River Basin Commission, in their own presentation indicated that there would have been substantially less property damage, residential and commercial, had the reservoirs not been at 100% capacity in June of 2006. And in fact, in the New Hope, Lambertville, Upper Makefield area alone, it's somewhere around 100 homes and 8 or 9 businesses. And that's assuming, the scientists in that case assumed that the void of an 80% would have created a 2-foot difference in the level of the water. The total damage up and down New Jersey and Pennsylvania that would have been avoided by their own report is 217 homes and 76 businesses just from 2 feet. Now, what's interesting is the folks that live along that area have hired their own scientists who concluded that the difference would have been 6 feet of water, which would have meant somewhere around 1,000 homes and 184 to 200 businesses would not have been impacted. So with the national circumstance, the change of floodplain maps, the substantial increase in floodplain premiums, what do you think you can do or should do, and what should we be doing in order to send a message to this agency that they're not protecting Pennsylvanians, New Jerseyans, or even Delawareans?
One observation I've made, and I've made this on a number, Chairman Miller mentioned this with respect to the Chesapeake Bay Commission. It is vitally important where Pennsylvania has, whether they're cabinet officials or members of the legislature that are members of these commissions, that we appear at the regular meetings and that we, in your words, flex our muscle. I've made this comment to my colleagues on the Delaware River Basin Commission. We either choose to be a weak commission and have the Delaware River Basin itself, the commission itself, be its own entity, or we choose to be a strong commission and work together, each state working together to give direction to the DRBC, which I prefer. I think that promotes better working relationships between Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, the federal government. And so the issues about the reservoirs that you mentioned, that comes with good interaction between Pennsylvania and New York so that New York truly understands the downstream ramifications when they don't lower those reservoirs, or they do lower the reservoirs. There's a yin and a yang. Because I was aware of that issue a number of years ago before I came to DEP, but it's the importance of making sure that the DRBC is functioning as at the will of the commission. So I've engaged, as I have on the Chesapeake Bay Commission, I've engaged in the Delaware River Basin Commission, not to take over those agencies, but to show the leadership that we need to show as Pennsylvania on those commissions. And so I will endeavor to continue to do so, and I hope that my presence at these meetings makes the difference that you're seeking. I can tell you that I was very appropriately involved with the interview process of the of the executive director candidate. As you know, Carol Collier is leaving the commission. She's retiring. And I made myself actively involved for that reason, so that the other states also realized how important it was that we, as a commission, all picked the right leader to lead this commission for us into the future.
Well, and I thank you for that, and I hope you will. And believe me, you will be the champion of thousands of Pennsylvania residents by doing that. And I want to share with you that a number of them have indicated to me and shown me documentation that is suggestive that not only are they not allowed to speak at meetings and voice their opinion and present the evidence that they have, the meetings are even sometimes moved, and there's some gamesmanship going on with respect to their ability to even attend. And, you know, look, good government is always open and transparent, and I would hope that that could be accomplished. With respect to the funding issues, I happen to agree with you that I think it's extremely unfair that the federal government hasn't funded this function for a decade, and that other than New Jersey, there is no one even close to the level of our funding, and therefore, you know, something has to be done in that regard, and a message has to be delivered. And I hope you're going to be ready to deliver it. It's a very, very important issue. Thank you.
Thank you.